Hello. Just want to do a couple examples on delta math regarding these piecewise functions. So first, we're asked to graph this particular piecewise function, and notice it's a quadratic when x is less than -2, and a line when x is greater than or equal to -2. So here's kind of like the dividing barrier when x equals -2. And to the left of that, there's going to be a quadratic, and to the right of that, there's going to be a line. So it takes a little bit of practice to determine or to realize how to graph using this program. So let's graph the parabola first. So I clicked on the parabola tool, and based on the transformations, I know I had to go to the left 5 and down 4. And the way to move this is by grabbing this blue dot, and it says so in the directions here. So I would go to the left 5 and down 4. And try to be as accurate as possible, but it is forgiving to a certain degree. And then, but realize this parabola, I only want to exist when x is less than 2. As it is graphed right now, the domain is all real. So to change the domain, you have to kind of move forward. You have to press done, and then you're allowed to change the domain to whatever you want. And I want my x values to be less than -2. So the parabola has to exist to the left of -2. So I move this arrow over, and it's strictly less than -2, not or equal. So I click on that dot, making it an open circle, and that finishes the parabola part. Next is the line, and I've got 3 options for a line here, but this has a positive slope, +1, so I'll choose this one. And the y-intercept is +8, so I drag it up 8 units. So also notice, incidentally, transformation-wise, x really doesn't need a grouping symbol because it's a linear function. And notice going up 8 is the same as moving to the left 8. That's the only parent function that kind of behaves that way. But anyway, so that's the line x plus 8, and I need this line to exist when x is greater than or equal to -2. So beginning at -2 and moving to the right. So I first click done, and then I drag the arrows over to -2 as best as I can, and it's a closed circle because it's included. I press finish, and don't click start over. I did that the first time. Click submit answer, and you are done with this problem. Here's another question. Same question, but different function. A little bit easier, maybe, according to Delta Math, I think. But you've got 2 lines, and the directions are a little bit different. It says click and drag to make a line, and then click on the line if you want to delete it. Click on the endpoints if you want to change it. So let's start with -x minus 3. And so I've got a line with a y-intercept of -3 and a slope of -1. So I would start at -3, and my slope is -1, so down 1, over 1, etc. But I want to keep kind of one eye on the domain. My domain is only from -6 to +1. So this little section of that line is going from 0 to 1. I want to go all the way back to -6. So I'm going to kind of work my way backwards, keeping the same slope until I hit -6 as an x value. And it doesn't include -6, so open circle. So this is the line, -x minus 3, between the domain values of -6 and +1, including -6 and excluding +1. The second one is y equals -3, which is just a flat line, a horizontal line, and that is in existence between 1 and 5. So I begin when x is 1, and I go all the way to 1, x is 5. So this is the line y equals -3. As it is right now, it's not a function because it fails the vertical line test when x is 1. But if you look at the y equals -3 part, x does not include 1. So I need to put an open circle there, and that is the graph. Another example, this one is definitely different. It's not graphing anymore, it's just evaluating. So I got a piecewise function, a function that has 3 separate pieces, each with their own domains. And I want to find f of -4. So x equals -4. I need to determine which domain does -4 belong to. Is -4 greater than 0? No, so it doesn't belong here. Does -4 equal 0? Of course not, so it doesn't belong here. Is -4 greater than -4 and less than 0? No, it isn't. -4 is not greater than -4. Did I miss something? Is -4 bigger than 0? No, it's smaller than 0. -4 does not equal 0, and -4 is not greater than -4. It's equal to -4. So -4 doesn't belong in any piece. -4 is not part of this function, so it is undefined at that value. Let's try another one though. This one should work. So again, a piecewise function with 3 different pieces, and you want to find f of 1. The x value is 1. Well, you look at your 3 domains and determine that it's this middle part that 1 belongs to. 1 is less than or equal to 1. So it belongs in this middle section, which is this. I want to do -2 times 1 minus 4, which gives me -6. And let's do one more example. Evaluate them graphically. I want to find f of -3. So piecewise function, a wonderful looking piecewise function. You got a parabola here, a line with a slope of -1/2, and then a flat line with a slope of 0. So 3 different pieces. And what is the y value when x is -3? Well, when x is -3, the function exists down here when y is -3. So the answer is simply -3. Let's do one more quick one of this. Not that one. I kind of want to do something that's a little bit more, okay, like this one. It has a little bit more thinking involved. So again, 3 pieces. And I want to find f of -1. I wanted to show this something like this because when x is -1, where are you going to go? You remember it's a function. So when x is -1, it should only produce one y value. So forget any idea of telling me 3 different y values. That would be a big mistake. When x equals -1, it is only going to go to one y value. Well, which y value? First, you got to find -1. Here's when x equals -1. Now, where along this vertical line does this graph exist? It doesn't exist here because there's a hole, and nor does it exist down here for the same reason. It exists here. When x is -1, this whole function will produce -4 as a y value. And when you do submit your answer, whether you're right or wrong, it'll show you how the program kind of thinks about it. Every x value is a vertical line. And so here's the vertical line, x equals -1. And it only hits the graph in one spot, right there at y equals -4. I hope this proves helpful in you finding your, finishing your Delta Math assignment. And I will see you tomorrow.